Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our main advanced Bible study night, the 3rd or the 14th of March, 2025. Okay, what I'll be doing is breaking down Exodus chapters 10 through 13, breaking them down for what they're actually saying. Okay, so that's what we're going to do tonight. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, to the Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at and examine. These videos will lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Okay. We live on Tuesday nights from 7 to 9. We live on Wednesday nights from 7 to 9. And then we have 2 Shabbat classes. One in the morning, 10 to 12 a.m. Then we close out the Shabbat in the evening, 6 to 7. And then we have our Israelite Advanced Bible Study on Sundays. It's at 5 p.m. Central Time every Sunday. So any of those times you want to come in and engage, and interact with us, it's all good. Okay. So with that being said, those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. By that I mean we deal with the Tanak and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, from Genesis to Malachi, and then we deal with the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Old Testament, which is the law. It consists of our culture, our way of life, that was given to Moses by our Redeemer and our Savior, the Lord of hosts. Okay. Shalom and welcome to this channel, and welcome to our Men's Advanced Bible Study. Okay. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, Psalms. Then we have some current events. We have some need to know information, and then we'll open it up to anybody with any Q&A. With any questions or comments about it, and dialogue. And then we'll go into our topic. Like I said, we'll be dealing with chapters 10, Exodus chapters 10 through 13, breaking it down, rightly dividing. Okay. And we're going to pick a scripture at the end of the class and read it and then break it down. Okay. So while we're here, anybody want to pick a scripture at the end of the class? So we'll get it lined out.
I'll take it.
Okay. Let me write that down. Okay. Okay. So with that being said, this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Oh Lord, we come before thee on this the beginning of your Sabbath day, bow down with great respect for our Redeemer. Oh Lord, and you confess through your prophet Isaiah that you would return unto us, and that you would pour out your spirit upon us in these last days. And you have did that in great fashion, and because of this, O Lord, we have found you within the Holy Scriptures. O Lord, behold, thou hast made the heavens and the earth, and by thy great power and thy strength and thy outstretched arm, there is nothing too hard for thee. And knowing all these things, O Lord, we eagerly await thy coming, the day in which thou wilt break the yoke of our oppressors and return us to our homeland. Peace be unto you. Okay. So we're going to read a psalm.
Shalom. Yes, sir. Tonight I'm going to read Psalm 17, a prayer of David, and the subtitle in my study Bible says a plea for God's protection. Verse 1. Hear the right, O Lord, attend unto my cry, give ear unto my prayer, that goeth not out of feigned lips. Let my sentence come forth from your presence. Let thine eyes behold the things that are equal. You have proved mine heart. You have visited me in the night. You have tried me, and you shall find nothing. I am purposed that my mouth shall not transgress concerning the work. I am purposed that my mouth shall not transgress concerning the works of men. By the word of your lips, I have kept me from the paths of the destroyer. Hold up my goings in your paths, that my footsteps slip not. I have called upon thee, for you will hear me, O God. Incline, incline thine ear unto me, and hear my speech. Show your marvelous loving kindness, O thou that saveth by your right hand, which right hand them which put their trust in you, from those that rise up against them. Keep me as the apple of the eye. Hide me under the shadow of the wings, from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. They are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. They have now encompassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth, like as the lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in the secret places. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword, from men which are your hand, O Lord, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, and whose belly you fillest with your hidden treasure. They are full children, and leave the rest of their substance to the babes. As for me, I will behold your face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with your likeness. Shalom.
Okay, you got any comments on that?
Oh yeah, brother Leonard, just this last verse right here
Okay.
says yeah, I will be satisfied when I awake with your likeness. So we know well, just to me, sir, I know David is dead right now. So when he was speaking, when he was saying this, I mean, he's saying he was going to be resurrected.
Right.
But then he's saying and I forgot which verse you had told me, but it says he's talking to the Lord of hosts.
Right.
When I awake with your likeness.
Right. That's in Zechariah. You can read the chapter. Let me get
Right.
it. Zechariah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me get it right quick. Zechariah chapter 12, I think. Let me get it. Zechariah chapter 12, verse 7.
Right. Yes, sir. The Lord also uh Zechariah 12:7, the Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory in the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. In the day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. He that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. Yes, sir. Yeah, this is what I was talking
Yeah, there it is. So we see right there. Like I was saying, they want you to think that everybody hollering about what about the people in the Old Testament concerning JC. No, they already knew. They already had a savior, and they already knew. He already promised them he's going to resurrect them. So, like David just said, that he went to sleep when he passed away, knowing that he was going to resurrect him in the last days. Right?
about. Yes, sir.
Okay, another example, Daniel chapter 12. Yeah, Daniel 12. This is for the people that ain't heard it before, right? So Daniel chapter 12. Let me get it. Daniel chapter 12. Okay. You can start reading at verse 10.
Verse 10,
Gabriel talking to Daniel in Daniel chapter 12.
chapter 12, and verse 10. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. And from that time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there should be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth, and come to the 1,305 and 30 days. But go that, but go, but go thou thy way to the end be, for you shall rest and stand in your lot at the end of the days.
So that's Gabriel telling Daniel, go your way, then you're gonna sleep, you're gonna rest, go to your fathers like David did, and then at the end, you're gonna stand back up in your lot in Jerusalem. And his lot is a tribe. So they already knew they was gonna be resurrected. And then in Ezekiel 37, he tells us the whole house of Israel is gonna be awakened. He's gonna resurrect the whole house of Israel, the dry bones. Not symbology or some metaphor, but he goes and tells us. Let's look at it. Ezekiel 37, right? He says, Ezekiel 37. So it's time to give up that Gentile ideology and start thinking like a Hebrew. So it says right here. They say it's some kind of metaphor or simile, right? But the Lord says right here in verse 12, 37, Ezekiel 37, therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus saith the Lord, right? Lord of hosts, our Redeemer, behold, O my people, I will open up your graves, just like he just told David and like he just told Daniel. I will open up your graves, cause you to come up out of your graves, and I shall bring you into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. When I, not Yahushua, I am the Lord, when I have opened up your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your grave. We're going to resurrect it. 14, and shall put my spirit in you. That spirit is the one that ascended to the fathers. Like Moses, when he died, the spirit went to his fathers, right? And I shall put my spirit in you. You shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall you know that I, the Lord, have spoken it, performed it, said the Lord. So that killed JC. You don't say nothing about JC, Yahushua or Emmanuel. He says, I shall put my spirit in you, you shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall you know that I, the Lord of hosts, have spoken it, and I have performed it, said the Lord. Notice where we at. We in Ezekiel. We ain't nowhere near the New Testament. And these Israelites already know what's going to happen in the last days. Okay? Any comments on that?
Oh, Brother Leonard, in that Ezekiel 37 and verse 14, that reminds me of in Genesis how you was breaking it down the other day, how it says that's the same thing he did with Adam when the Lord God formed Adam.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I shall put my spirit in you and you shall live.
Exactly.
Because that's when he blew in his nostrils, right?
Right, yes. And all he's doing is he's repeating that again, but this time he's putting the spirit that he blew in him before, recently. You know what I mean? When he's in the garden. He's just blowing that same spirit being placed back in the body. He's like I was saying, it's reverse osmosis. That's why it's dry bones. And then it tells you the bones went back to each bone. They bones laying all over the place, but they go back where they came from, to the body where they came from. Then he put the spirit, he put the flesh and stuff back on it, like he did Adam in the beginning. Then he called forth all those spirits that passed away, our forefathers. They go back in the bodies they came from, and they stand on their feet. The Habashah can't do that. Okay.
May it be speedily so.
Say that again.
I said, may it be speedily so, man.
Okay. Yeah. It's coming. Yeah, I want to go back to the Psalms right quick because I was on verse 7. Psalm 17. The
Oh,
agent
yes,
just
sir.
read. It says, show thy marvelous love and kindness, right? O thou that savest by thy right hand, them which put their trust in thee from those that rise up against them. So we see right here, this ain't none of the JC. Show thy marvelous love and kindness, O thou that savest by thy right hand. So let's look at a precept on that. Go to Deuteronomy 32. Go to Deuteronomy 32. We're going to see. This is one of those precepts beyond a shadow of a doubt, right? If you're looking for the truth, and it's come right to you. Either you're gonna deal with it or you ain't. So we in let me see, 32. Okay, yeah, 32, and I'm gonna start at verse 37. This is our deep Redeemer, Lord of hosts talking. He shall say, where are thy gods, their rock in whom thou trusted, which did eat the fat of their sacrifices and drink the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up and help you and be your protection. Now here go the Lord of hosts. Just long before JC. See now, even I am he, the Savior, the Redeemer, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hands. Now here you go. Here go the right hand that David is praying about in Psalm 17. For I lift up my hands unto heaven, and I say, I live forever. If I, with my glistening sword, Michael, it's the Lord of hosts, and my hand, right hand, take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance unto my enemies, and I will reward them that reward me. So that go to Redeemer right there. David telling you over here with his right hand, verse 17 and 7. Show thy marvelous love and kindness, right? It's the Redeemer. O thou that savest by thy right hand, them which put their trust in thee from those that rise up against thee. Then another example, we don't have to go there, everybody know the story. When the Red Sea, he raised his right hand up and saved the Israelites from the Egyptians. Lord of hosts. They see wasn't nowhere around then. And Israel already had him saved. Okay. Let that firmate. Anybody got any questions or comments on anything I see? Okay,
Nope.
so all right. So with that being said, we're gonna go to our current events.
Faso to discuss with the presidents, begging them to come back into their group. Is this a good idea or not? We will find out about that. South Africa said they will not be bullied by the United States of America. They are not afraid. They are not scared. They're going to stand ground. You need to find out about that. Russia opening the door to many African nations. These African nations are going to go to Russia visa free. Is this good news or not? You need to find out about that. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. You are appreciated. It's always a great pleasure to talk to you, fellas. You have no idea. I mean, it feels good, sharing this information. This is our platform. Thank you very much. If you like the news about Africa, you're at the right place. You want to know about Uganda, Nigeria, Tanzania, Africa, South Africa, Namibia, you're at the right place. Don't go anywhere else. Stay here. First of all, you need to subscribe, right? YouTube says that a lot of you watch videos, but you're not subscribed. Please do subscribe. So we're here. Ghanaian President John Dramani Mahatma. This is a brand new president. Well, he used to be president in the past, but he's back now. He paid a visit to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Or in fact, he replaced this president right here. He was a very well-spoken president. He spoke very different kind of English, but he didn't like Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali very much. Why? Because for him, they did not come to power appropriately. They should have come via democracy, which means elections. But these three countries, what they have in common is that they toppled their president to take over the power. So the brand new president is more accepting. So he took a flight to pay a visit to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger for bilateral talks as part of an effort to convince the leaders of the three neighboring countries to reconsider their exit from the West African bloc. Okay, give you context. You see these three countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they are friends. Actually, they're brothers. You see these countries here, look, these are ECOWAS. Now, back in time, they were all part of the same group, okay? West African nation that cooperate with each other. They talk nicely to one another. They sort of, visa-free, however you want to put it. However, these three countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they were not happy with the way things were run. And because they were not happy, they said, the problem is the president. Why the president? Because the president seemed to work for interest of Western nation more than work for interest of the local Africans. Therefore, they decided to topple the president one by one by one. Now, who run the country? It's the army chiefs. They run the country. And they seem to be doing a very positive work toward Africans, creating jobs, building industries, and doing all the positive things. Now, the problem is what? These other countries, you can see on the map, ECOWAS again. These are ECOWAS. These countries ask these three countries to get back into democracy system, meaning to go through elections. These three countries said, no, not yet. We're not ready. Okay, we're not ready because politicians bring trouble. We have fought hard to get back in power, give the power to the people. If you put the politician in, they're easy to, play with. They give them some money coming from Germany, from America, and they start doing the same thing they were doing over and over. We don't want to go through the democratic process yet. We want to stabilize our countries first, then we will do democracy. And these other countries, these ECOWAS, were angry. Why they were angry? Because these presidents, most of them in these countries, are dictators. They want to stay there forever in most cases, even though they organize bogus elections, false elections where they always win, but they did not like the fact that these youngsters or these other military guys were actually working for the interest of the people. Now, those countries threatened Niger. This is Niger. This is the actual president of Niger. Now, the president before him, Mohamed Bazoum, he was the president. Now, these countries, ECOWAS, say we are ready to go and topple the new government in Niger and reinstate the previous government of Mohamed Bazoum. Okay, so when we were fighting against terrorism in Niger, you did not come together. When we were fighting against terrorism in Mali and Burkina Faso, you did not come together. Only when we decide to topple our president and get the power back within our hand, now you're ready to come together with logistics and money. All these countries came together, ready to go and attack. We are ready. And all like his nose.
My wife, Miss American. I want to go after Sarah.
It's weird. Now, these three countries have shown a real brotherhood. Why? Because when these ECOWAS countries were ready to go attack them, okay, Mali and Burkina Faso say, if you dare attack Niger, you're going to be declaring war against Mali and Burkina Faso. And that is the reason why they never attacked. Now, right after that, they gave them notice, say, we're done. We're not going to be part of ECOWAS anymore. We're out. You can count us out. These ECOWAS countries thought it was a joke, but they stayed on the line. They've been working together. They are building plans together. Now they have a common army. They've rendered communication local, no more roaming. So you can call from Mali to Niger, Niger to Burkina Faso at the local price, no more international price. Easy. So they're coming together. They have a common passport now. They're moving forward. They are doing great for the people. They're building business. They're building hospitals, roads. They're moving forward. Now the president of Ghana has taken a flight to these countries to negotiate with them with the goal of bringing them back to ECOWAS. How do you feel about that? Should it?
Okay. Any comments on that?
I've been following a lot of that stuff that's going on out there, but man, you from one video to the next, you don't know what the heck is going on. One side, it sounds really positive, things are moving ahead, and the other end, it seems to be talking about stuff that supposedly happened some time back with some of the troops being removed. But my impression was some of those troops were removed months and months ago. But some videos coming out now talking about them removing some more troops. So I don't know what to believe that really.
Right. That's powers that be. The same way they introduced the New Testament to the Tanak and brought confusion. So that's them. They pros that bring about confusion. Okay.
Yeah,
anybody else? Anybody else got anything on that? Okay, here we go. I thought this right here was pretty interesting. Okay. Talk about confusion. Check this out.
People fired by Donald Trump are getting their jobs back today because of the first round of proverbial fireworks that went off in a California federal courthouse. And I just got the transcript of what happened there, trying all day to get it, finally got it. I really want to share this with you. All right, so let me set the scene. Trump administration has sent a lawyer to defend them in this case in federal court in Northern California. But they are refusing to send any officials from the Trump administration to testify in this case, to explain what they have done and to be questioned about it. The basis of this case is that the Trump White House, the Office of Personnel Management and the Trump White House told federal agencies last month, essentially, to fire tens of thousands of people who work for the government, potentially hundreds of thousands of people. And then after the Trump White House, the Office of Personnel Management, told the agencies to fire all those people, then all those people got fired. And it really does not seem like that was legal. It has never seemed like that was legal, that the White House would have the authority to make those kinds of mass firings. But again, they won't send anybody to testify about what exactly they did. So this is from the transcript. So the lawyer who is suing the Trump administration says this: Your Honor, quote, what we have before the court is record evidence that conclusively establishes that OPM directed the terminations at issue. We have a very unusual circumstance where the government has not attempted to say that they factually dispute that. They've actually withdrawn the declaration by which they were attempting to dispute that. And there's no record evidence on the other side by which they have disputed this fact. The judge: I tend to agree with you on that. And the government, I believe, has tried to frustrate the judge's ability to get at the truth of what happened here, and then set forth sham declarations to a sham declaration. They withdrew it, then substituted another. That's not the way it works in the U.S. District Court, the judge says. Quote, I'm going to talk to the government about that in a minute. I had expected to have an evidentiary hearing today in which these people would testify. And if they wanted to get your people on the stand, I was going to make that happen too. It would be fair. But instead, we have been frustrated in that. The judge then says to the lawyer for the plaintiffs, quote, I'd like to hear your views on what relief should be issued today. T-O-D-A-Y, today. The lawyer: thank you, Your Honor. We are aligned in wanting that to happen as well. He spelled out T-O-D-A-Y. And so then they have a conversation, the judge and the lawyer for the plaintiffs, the lawyer who's suing the Trump administration on behalf of the fired employees. And they talk about what the fired employees who are suing the Trump administration, what they're seeking from the judge today, the kind of relief they want. They say they want a list of everybody who's been fired. They haven't been able to get that, or even an enumeration from the government of how many people have been fired. They also want people to be reinstated if they have been fired illegally. So they go through all those details. Then it's time for the Trump administration lawyer to make his side of the case. And he starts explaining to the judge that all these fired workers, the only reason they were fired is because nobody wanted them. Nobody told anybody to fire anything. There was no instructions to fire people. These are just unwanted workers. If anybody wanted them back, they surely would have been rehired by now, right? At which point the judge interjects. The judge, quote, well, maybe that's why we need an injunction that tells them to rehire them. You will not bring the people in here to be cross-examined. You are afraid to do so because you know cross-examination would reveal the truth. Trump administration lawyer tries to interject. Respectfully, the judge continues, this is the U.S. District Court. Whenever you submit declarations, those people should be submitted to cross-examination, just like the plaintiff side should be. And we get at the truth of whether your story is actually true. I tend to doubt it. I tend to doubt that you are telling me the truth whenever we hear all the evidence eventually. Why can't you bring your people in to be cross-examined or to be deposed at their convenience? I said 2 hours for Mr. Ezel. Mr. Ezel is the acting head of OPM. I said 2 hours for Mr. Ezel, a deposition at his convenience. And you withdrew his declaration rather than do that? Come on, that's a sham. Beef that's going to be granted.
This is the perfect time.
As follows. First, the temporary restraining order will be extended. The VA shall immediately offer reinstatement to any and all probationary employees terminated on or about February 13th or 14th. This order finds that all such terminations were directed by defendant OPM and were unlawful because OPM had no authority to do so. Further, the VA shall cease any and all use of the template termination notice provided by OPM and shall immediately advise all probationary employees terminated February 13th and 14th that the notice and termination have been found to be unlawful by the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California. The VA shall cease any termination of probationary employees at the direction of OPM. To repeat, this order holds that OPM has no authority whatsoever to direct, order, or require in any way that any agency fire any employee. Now, given the arguments and the facts in this case, namely that defendants have attempted to recast these directives as mere guidance, my order today, quote, further prohibits defendants from giving guidance as to whether any employee should be terminated.
Let's bring in Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut. He's a member of the Armed Services and Judiciary Committees and serves as a ranking member on the Committee on Veterans Affairs. But let's first talk, Senator, if we could. I mean, you also served as Attorney General in the state of Connecticut for a number of years, about this executive order essentially stripping Perkins Coie of security clearances needed to represent clients and limits the firm's access to government buildings. I mean, what do you make of this and what can be done?
Well, thank you, Mika, for having me on this very consequential day in the Congress. What I make of this action is it is the ultimate in autocratic attempts to chill advocacy and speech. And it's emblematic of what this administration is doing. The FCC is investigating NBC and CBS. It is taking action against free speech around the country. And this attack on a law firm because of its clients is fundamental to the destruction of our legal system that this administration seems bent on doing. It is a full frontal attack, as Mike just said, but it goes to the fairness of everyday legal proceedings in our country. If you want to be represented by a law firm and you're unpopular, or if you committed a crime that seems heinous, even though you are innocent, you're going to have trouble finding a law firm under this kind of autocratic approach to punishing law firms simply because of who their clients are. And, you know, the bedrock of our legal system is that people are entitled to representation, even if they're unpopular, even if the public believes they have committed a crime. And this kind of chilling, deadening effect is emblematic of what the administration is trying to do to our legal system, which is the wonder of the world. It is the reason why we are, in large part, an exceptional country. Everybody's equal under the law. Everybody gets to be represented by an attorney. And, you know, Williams and Connolly has a reputation for being fearless and aggressive.
Folks, what you're seeing.
Okay. Any comments on that? So they didn't backed up all those firings. Anybody heard anything about that?
Yeah, like I said,
No, sir, I haven't.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, no, I haven't heard. But if I could back up, Brother Leonard, with that video about the young soldiers taking over and looking out for the people, it's like those old spirits are dying off and he's raising up a new set of men to take over in Africa.
Exactly. West Africa. Okay. Yeah. So that's to me, like I was saying, that's prophecy. He said in the last days he's gonna pour his spirit out on the Israelites. When you understand who the people were that was on the west coast of Africa, the Israelites. They fled from the land of Israel, and they all came together on the west coast of Africa, Negro land. That's where they came and got us from, according to prophecy, when they came and got us and brought us over here. And from there, they scattered us over the whole world. So all we're looking at is the end time prophecies. He said he's going to pour his spirit out on us. And they're going to wake up. Okay. Anybody else have something?
Yeah, I was just saying earlier that when Donald Trump said that he was going to make America great again, he meant about making it great for the rich, obviously. And the reason that he's gutting out all these programs is because he knows, the end game, what the end game is, is to tear everything down and at some point declare, like the king did, their jubilee or whatever, that there's going to be the jubilee year where they forgive each other's debt and so forth and so on. But I was looking at two articles that I saw here online, excuse me, one of which says Donald Trump is crashing the economy, but Wall Street is afraid to speak out about it, right? And another one says that, let's see what it says over here real quick. It says no end game in sight. United States stock market loses $5 trillion in value amid Trump tariffs. So they know that they're purposely crashing the system. You know what I'm saying? For those people who keep thinking, "Oh, you guys been talking about the end all the time and it never comes." Well, this is no game. I mean, you can tell pretty much that we're at the precipice of something really huge happening, especially with regards to our people being delivered.
Exactly. Okay. Anybody else have something?
Shalom. Yes, sir. When I look at what in the video, or just even thinking about Trump right now, what they're doing, just the actions that they're doing, I mean, the only people who are gonna be able to like financially survive this eventually is like the rich people. So I see like this is that, that plan that they have to not have a middle class, for there to only be extremely rich and then extremely poor, and then just I remember in that video you were playing, Brother Leonard, how that lady mentioned like, doing these firings and things like that, how it wasn't legal, but they backed it up and they're bringing up reasons behind why they did. They said they're rehiring people and all that type of shit. And so it reminds me of just how like their law, like the law of their land and just Gentiles period, how you can always change it. You can always change it. There's like, even in the Constitution, how there's amendments like that. That means a change. You know what I'm saying? And Michael's law never changed. He's always the same. But they always have a way to be able to, hostile take over a company or vote out a CEO or, be the president and change the laws. And my last thing, I'm sorry, y'all. Which I seen that Trump, I don't know if y'all seen this, where it said that he deleted the database of police misconduct.
Okay.
Right. So they were talking about that cop that killed George Floyd might possibly be pardoned, and a lot of other cops, due to him doing that.
I saw that.
Because
I saw that.
yes, sir. Right. So just even things like that, they're showing that this ain't the same government we've been dealing with, and they are crashing the nation from as we know it. Like it's not gonna be the same nation. But shalom, I'm sorry, I had a
Right, yeah. Bouncing off of the same thing we just saying, the New Testament. Look how many times they revived that and flipped it all around since from the time when they first concocted it back in the Council of Nicaea. Seemed like every 6 months they got a new version coming out. The more we wake up, the more they change, the more they come with more versions. Switch it all off. Even the English language, right? Ain't that something? So
Yes, sir.
anybody else got anything on that? Okay. Play this right here. This some need to know information.
Folks, welcome back to The Breakdown. I'm your host, Sandra Bebu Boateng. I am an African.
So, like I was saying before, we are all in the midst of end times, and if you ain't not thinking like a Hebrew, you can't see it. So I was showing how that 3 times we left. When Nebuchadnezzar came, he got us. He came and got a group of Israelites, took them to Babylon. He came 3 times. Then when 70 years was up that Jeremiah had prophesied, we came back in three different waves. We came back with first group came back with Joshua and Zerubbabel. Then the group came back with Nehemiah. Then the last group came back with Jeremiah. Same thing is transformed right in front of our face right now, but we can't. We're not tuned in.
Woman, just because how do we identify who we are? You look at your skin, right? So I didn't need that to tell me that I'm African. Anywhere that I go in the world and someone looks at me, I'm melanated. But my ancestors who wanted to return and come back home, those ancestors who never made it back, their dying wish was to come back to their home, and they never made it. That passport for me is for them. Today, we're diving into a movement that's been gaining steam for some years, but recently hit a new level of urgency. The growing number of African Americans moving to Africa, not just visiting, not just reconnecting, but actually packing their bags and leaving the U.S.
And like I said before, I play the song all the time. I am Shem. They saying they calling us African Americans, but we ain't African Israelites. And what we doing is we playing out the same role our forefathers did. We was cast into captivity. When the time for the captivity was up, we started going back home. And that's what we're looking at.
U.S. for good to start a new life on the motherland. And it's not just African Americans. Many first and second generation immigrants are also moving back home. So what exactly is driving this trend? Why Africa? Why now? And if you're considering relocating, is it the right move for you? That's what we're breaking down today, the why, the where, and the real pros and cons of moving to Africa. I've got stats and interviews with real people who have done it to help you make the right decision. And we will also be looking at African countries who are rolling out the red carpet with citizenship and incentives to welcome you home. It's going to be a good one, but before we dive in, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you don't miss another critical conversation like the one we're about to have. So that's Quad from Married to Medicine, who recently became a citizen of Ghana. And I love what she said about misconceptions, because honestly, where did this idea even come from that Africans don't like African Americans? That's a myth, one that I'm glad is finally being debunked. And there are so many other misconceptions out there, but honestly, it starts with what she said, right? Which is visiting the motherland yourself. Not only has Quad become a citizen of Ghana, but she is actively investing, starting businesses, and she's not the only one. But first up, why are people doing this? What's making African Americans, after generations in the US, look across the Atlantic and say, yeah, I think I'm out? Well, reason number one, racial fatigue. The US ain't getting any easier. Let's be honest, being Black in America is exhausting. Every day, there's another police brutality case, another law designed to suppress Black voters, another corporate diversity program being rolled out. Even after centuries of contributions to the country, Black folks are still fighting for basic dignity. And some people are saying, why fight when I can just leave, right? Not in a runaway, let me run away kind of way, but in a let me actually take my skills, my money, and my peace of mind somewhere that respects me kind of way.
For me, as a Black mother, I love America. I have always loved America, but at some point, America stopped loving me and stopped loving my children, and I could feel it in the policies and activities that were happening. So I moved myself away from whatever perceived conveniences there are in America to, protect us from the very obvious ill. So it's a question of what's your priority. My children's life is paramount to me, and I would want them to be in an environment where they feel at home, they feel welcome, they feel protected by the laws and by, the society. So for me, if those things are important to you and you're a Black person still living in the diaspora, don't be afraid to come in and figure out what you can do here, because the opportunities are limitless. There's so little that we have here that there's an opportunity for you to come and create it if you are that way motivated. So
Another reason people are moving, the economy. Your dollar goes further in Africa. The average one-bedroom apartment in Accra, Ghana, for example, about maybe $400 a month. In Lagos, between $300 to $600 a month. Although I do have to point out that real estate is getting more expensive by the day, especially depending on the level of luxury that you want, right? But still, it comes nowhere near what you would pay in New York, $3,000 a month for a shoebox. And it's to welcome more home through its pioneering Right of Abode initiative, a law that gives people of African descent the right to live in Ghana permanently. Number two, Sierra Leone. That's right. Sierra Leone took things to the next level. They're saying,
notice all these countries are on the West Coast. So it's a prophecy out there that a lot of people don't know nothing about. And you got to look at it and understand. AJ was just reading out of Psalm 17, and David prayed to the Lord to lead him in his paths. So, like I said, so he changed not, right? So they went, Nebuchadnezzar came and got them from Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar came and got them from Israel, took them to Babylon. So when it was time for them to return, he took them back to where he got them from, which was Israel. They was in Egypt. They left because of the famine, ended up in Egypt. They would take them back to where they came from, which was Egypt. We was taken from the west coast of Africa. So he's bringing us back to where he got us from, to the west coast of Africa. And from there, we go home. That's what so many people don't understand. Is in Zephaniah chapter 3. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that's the west coast, where we was taken from. So he got to return us back to where we came from. Then from there, we go back to our homeland. And that's what so many people getting caught up in.
and if your ancestry test traces you back to Sierra Leone, congratulations, you qualify for citizenship. No years-long visa process, no headaches, just proof of ancestry, and you're in. Number three, Benin. Yes, so Benin has also done the same as Sierra Leone. They recently passed a law that grants automatic citizenship to descendants of enslaved Africans. So if you can prove ancestral ties through DNA or records, yes, you can become a Beninese citizen. Number four, South Africa. So South Africa is considering offering citizenship to Black Americans as part of a broader initiative to strengthen African American ties to the continent. Now, if this goes through, it could be a game changer, but so far it hasn't happened yet. But here's the thing, just because a country offers you citizenship doesn't mean you should automatically move there, right? I mean, citizenship is great, but it's just one piece of the entire puzzle. Before you pack your bags, there are 5 other critical factors that you need to consider when choosing where to move. And let's be real, some of these countries check more boxes than others.
If you are inclined to look for a job, don't come. But if you are entrepreneurial minded, you have a skill set that you can share, technology that you can transfer, if you have a way to utilize the abundant raw materials that we have here, we have an abundance of so many things that you can't easily find outside. And if you're able to create a business that utilizes what we have here and exports it for, foreign exchange, that sort of thing, you could position yourself for a very positive life.
Number one, employment. That's very, very important. Can you find a job in this place? Now, many countries don't have a strong job market, right? So employment opportunities will be very limited unless you have high in demand skills. South Africa, for example, has an unemployment rate of 32%, meaning jobs are already very competitive. Remember, these economies are still developing, so the formal job market is limited.
Okay. Any comments on that?
Instead, the key is adopt.
Anybody have comments on that?
Shalom, brother Leonard. That's all the all the sentiments that I found. Remember I told you when I found out about the truth, then in 2019 I was trying to move over there.
Okay.
And that's everything that I would see. They would keep telling me that nobody dislikes, quote unquote, Black Americans over there. Well, not nobody, but they just fear that we would come and make it worse due to if we don't create jobs. Because like when I was interacting with the people, like people in Ghana and stuff like that, that's what they kept saying. Like, we need jobs, so if you come over here, like, we'll work for you. Like the people I was talking to was literally telling me that, like, we need jobs. So that's the only thing that they fear is if and for people to know, if you're trying to move over there and you don't have the money to start a business, then you're not going to survive there, because you can't go there and get a job like you can get in America. You would have to go and start a business, and a lot of people aren't in that position. And that's how I seen it wasn't time to leave yet, because I literally ran into what she's talking about in that video you were just playing.
Okay, yeah, exactly. That same thing here. It was the time wasn't right, but it's still not stopping the fact that people, they just started migrating over there, right? So it's already started.
Right,
but
yes, sir.
Like you said, it's about him, like I said, thinking like a Hebrew, and then understanding that the Lord of hosts is in charge of everything. We trying to make it happen instead of letting him make it happen. That's what a lot of people get caught up in.
Right. Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Okay.
Yeah, I want to say, I agree with that. I mean, it's pretty obvious that that's what's going on. And then,
Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments or any dialogue about anything they came across or anything they heard on this line you want to talk about, break it down?
Just one observation, Brother Leonard. It's like the more this particular president is doing all these repressive things, well, he gonna hurt his people too. But it reminds me of the story about Egypt, and everybody was multiplying and being okay, and they started with all this hardness. But it's just seemed to be a mirror to that.
Exactly. That's what I was just talking about. He says, what Solomon tells us, what has happened before is going to happen again. And then we know that the Lord, when you understand who the Redeemer is, by Israel, he changed not. So, and matter of fact, what we're going to be dealing with in the class in Exodus is going to prove you right. Exactly what you just said. Because it's just, well, everybody want to know what's getting ready to happen, what's going to happen with us. Well, the same thing that happened in Egypt. I mean, he hardened the Pharaoh heart in Egypt so that he can show himself, show who he is, right? We see these people hardening their hearts. He caused them to harden their heart. So they're gonna force his hand, just like the Pharaoh did. And we're gonna find out it ain't JC. Okay, somebody had something?
yeah, I just wanted to add, I'm sorry because I was having a problem with the mic. That what they're saying about the gathering of our people, and Scripture very clearly says that He's going to gather us from the four corners. You know, like we
Okay.
were talking about this earlier, and I talked to some of the brothers out there years and years ago before when they were going to Demona. I was
Right.
saying, well, if Scripture clearly tells us He's going to gather us, so that means that when He brings us all there and He opens the door, He's going to find you guys inside the house here. So you guys are taking a backdoors approach to what the Word says. It says He will gather us. So you know, here we are saving our pennies in that to find a way to go over there, and the truth says He's going to do that. So if we wait patiently, I don't think, you know, that we would have to do that, because the truth is, from my experience, yeah, I find some people that go over there, they say it's all right, but I find other people saying that they're struggling, and other people come back, you know, disillusioned. So I don't know what the percentages are, but it seems kind of equal both ways. So I think best thing, trust in Him. He said He's going to gather us. You know what I'm saying? When our people
Right.
went off to war, when we were supposed to go to war, we lost every time. But when we were doing it according to His instruction, we won. So I guess we have to take the same approach.
Exactly. Right. This so yes, I understand what's being said. Like I was saying, when we can see that our awakening already started, that's evident, and we can also see that the regathering already started, because it's the Spirit of the Most High that's causing them to go over there, even though they might be going at the wrong time, but it's the Spirit of the Most High that's on them, because it wasn't happening 20 years ago. So it was a point in time, and now we see it's starting to happen, and we can see the signs. Okay, yeah. Anybody else?
Oh, brother Leonard, I had came across a scripture about David in the Apocrypha in
Yeah,
Ecclesiasticus, and
right.
this is Sirach 47, and it says, after Nathan rose up to prophesy in the days of David, as the fat is set apart from the offering of well-being, so David was set apart from the Israelites. He played with lions as though they were young goats, and with bears as though they were lambs of the flock. In his youth, did he not kill a giant and take away the people's disgrace when he hurled the stone in the sling and struck down the boasting Goliath? For he called on the Lord the Most High, and He gave strength to his right arm to strike down a mighty warrior and to exalt the power of His people. So they glorify Him for the tens of thousands He conquered, and praise Him for the blessings bestowed by the Lord when the glorious diadem was given to Him. And He wiped out His enemies on every side and annihilated His adversaries, the Philistines. He crushed their power to our own day. In all that He did, in all that He did, He gave thanks to the Holy One, the Most High, proclaiming His glory. He sang praise with all his heart, and he loved his maker. He placed singers before the altar to make sweet melody with their voices. He gave beauty to the festivals and arranged their times throughout the year while they praised Michael's holy name. And the sanctuary resounded from early morning, and the Lord took away his sins and exalted his power, and he gave him a covenant of kingship and a glorious throne in Israel. And that's the end of that chapter, Brother Leonard. But that first verse where it says, as the fat is set apart from the offering of well-being, so was David set apart from the Israelites. That had reminded me about, well, one, that reminded me who David is, that he's the chosen one out of the chosen people. But when it says, you had said one day we was on the men's class and we was talking about, you know, how good a steak is, you know, how good the fat on the steak is. And then that's when I realized how you broke down. You know, I'm like, yeah, the fat of the steak is the best part. And then you was like, yeah, but that belongs to the Lord. And then I'm like, that makes sense why it's, you know, why it's so
Exactly.
good. But
Right.
yeah, that can you throw some wisdom on that for me?
Well, we see when they make the sacrifices. And I was saying how that the Lord of hosts is in the temple with them. He pointed it out. Even at when Abraham was making the sacrifice, he pointed out to them what part it is that he want. And so he says he wants the fat. So my point is this: if he wants the fat, all right, and then you found out down the road that they didn't give you another Messiah, and you straddle the fence, well then go get the fat. You gonna find out who the real God is. When you put the fat on the altar, he telling you he wants certain parts of the animal, and then he wants he said the hind part, the coil behind the hind part where the fat is. That's what he wants. And so the reason being, for people that don't know, is because of he the one that he the one overseeing the animal growing up and becoming mature and healthy. Because he ain't had to grow, the animal didn't have to grow up and be healthy. He the one caused it to grow up and be fat and healthy. And so for his work that he put in it, all he wanted is the fat. And people ain't understanding that. That has nothing to do with JC. We see with the Pharaoh had a dream. It had seven fat king cattle, and then he had 7 lean cattle. So just like he can make them be fat, he can make them be lean. Huh?
That's something.
Yeah, exactly. So he said, you looking for the Lord, you're looking for the God, the Savior of Israel. He told you, I want the fat. Every time you sacrifice an animal on this altar, give me this right here and the fat. And and put the frankincense and all that on it, and it's gonna be a sweet savor in my nose. So my point is this: like I said, we thinking like Gentiles. How in the hell is this when they put the frankincense and all that on the fire and light it and the smell? How it's gonna go all the way to heaven? It ain't, because he ain't in heaven. He right there. So when they burning the fragrance and the fat on the altar, he right there, he's smelling it. That's what he's telling them. He right there. He said, I'm a God, y'all dealing with all these false gods and idols, but I'm a God that's at hand, that's near, that's right there with you. And that's why David is so bent out of shape on the high holy days to get into the temple, because the Lord hosts in the temple. That's what we done lost. So if he there, them other six is there with him. And that's what we done lost. Okay. Anybody got any comments, question? Okay, so
Shalom, brother.
Yeah, go.
Brother Leonard, I'm sorry. One other thing about that fat that I when I was trying a bunch of these diets and stuff back in the day on this health kick, I had came across the carnivore diet. My trainer had me doing that, and they used to talk about the fat all the time. That they talked about all these studies in Kev too. Showed me a bunch of studies and about that's actually where you get more natural energy from, where they'll tell you to eat a fruit, like it would give you more energy than eating an apple or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We had read up on a lot of articles and studies on that from a lot of colleges that back in the day when they said meat's not good,
right?
I seen they were recanting a lot of their studies and their statements, and that reminded me of that too.
Right. And the thing about it, like I was saying, thinking like a Hebrew, disconnecting yourself from their ideologies. Look what they told us about milk. All them years, I remember coming up that milk was so good, cow milk. See what I'm saying? We got mothers that got breast milk, but they tell you cow milk is better for us than the breast milk from a woman. And the milk that generates into our cow is for another cow. But like I said, because we've been brainwashed, we believe that. How the hell is cow milk healthy for us when that milk is for another cow? We ain't got no hoofs. Ain't there something?
Right.
But we go for
And
that.
even that, even if we need to drink milk as adults, like it's just for that
Right,
stage of
that you need it. Yeah. But like I said, now they got to the point now, and it's all about money, right? But he told us this was part of the curses. We was gonna go over there and pick up their ways. So they tell us Gatorade, when you get thirsty, you playing any kind of sports. When you get thirsty, drink Gatorade. Gatorade gonna replenish you more than water is. Come on. And our bodies, when the Creator made us, our bodies 80 to 90% water. But Gatorade, something that the Gentile concocted, is more better for us than water. And we go for it. Ain't that something?
Yes, sir. Like you said, money.
Right, money. Yeah, exactly. Ain't that something? Anybody else got anything? Yeah, so I want to shine a light on, because we was talking the other day. I hear this over and over again from different people, from a lot of camps and all this, about what a day is, what a day consists of. You know, they say day, when the sun come out, that's a day, one day, and the night is another part. But I want to show you right here on the Shabbat how a Sabbath day, what a Sabbath day is, right? And so I'm in Nehemiah chapter 13, starting at verse 1. Okay, so it says, on that day, see that? What we talked about. This is what the discussion is. A day, what a day is. On that day, they read in the book of Moses in the audience. So they came back. Like I told you, it was 3 waves of people came back. 3 waves went into captivity, 3 waves came back. This is the second wave during the time of Nehemiah, right? It says, and Nehemiah is prophetic because he's a participant. Zerubbabel and him and Zechariah, Ezra is fulfilling Daniel 9:25. Zechariah, Zerubbabel is the Messiah. Zechariah is the one, he's ordained to go back and rebuild the wall. That's in Daniel 9:25. So it says, on that day, they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written, check it out, that the Ammonites, everybody want to know why we can't deal with the Ammonites and the Moabites, right? It says that the Ammonites and the Moabites should not come into the congregation of God forever. Why? Why? Because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired, check it out. And that's what I was getting ready to say earlier. I didn't do it. Well, but I was telling you when you was mentioning the verses that you was reading out about David, Balaam. Balaam prophesied that the same, everything you read, Balaam prophesied that David was going to do it. So here you go right here. Because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but they hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit, our God turned the curse into a blessing. Now it came to pass, when they had heard the law, that they separated from Israel. Check it out. This big, like I said, this right here. What I'm reading right here is going to separate it's a lot of information in it, and it separates a lot of misconceptions that Negroes came up with. So it says, now it came to pass, when they heard the law, that they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude. So what's the mixed multitude? They came out of Israel. They came out with Israel when they left Egypt. This is a lot of the problem in the wilderness. This mixed multitude. Now check it out. And before this, Elishibab, the priest, having the oversight of the chamber of the house of God, and he allied unto Tobiah. So let's break this down, because a lot of people like I said, they don't focus in on these names. So Elishibab is a high priest, but he wicked as hell. Remember the wicked fig and the good fig, 2 baskets? The good fig was taken to Babylon for 70 years. The wicked fig stayed in the land of Israel. This guy right here, Elishabad, he's still in the land of Israel. He's a wicked seed. So look what he's doing. Before this, Elishabad the priest having the oversight of the chamber of the house of our God. So what chamber is this? This deal with the tithes. Tithes don't have nothing to do with money. It's got to do with the produce that Israel produced. They have to bring a tenth of that to the temple, and it goes in this chamber right here. The Elishabad is over with. It's over. You bring it to the chamber right here, right? So let's check it out. The Elishabad, the house of God, was allied with Tobias. So who is Tobias? I told you the 10 tribes was taken to the land of Assyria, and the king of Assyria brought nations, 10 other nations, and put them in the land of Israel. They're not Israelites. They're wicked as hell. That's why Samaria is so wicked. So Tobias is from these Samaritans. The Samaritans wicked as hell. So they don't want the Israelites to come back because they got the Israelites that remain in the land, the wicked feed, they got them under subjection and oppressed. So Tobias got the priest the bringing in all the stuff to the chamber that he over. He over the chamber where they bring the tithes in. And he's one of the guys that sent a letter to Darius to try to get them to stop from building the temple. Okay? So verse 5, and he had prepared of him. So now, like I was saying, so when we go to Ezra, chapter 1, when Cyrus came out and said, the Lord God told me to rebuild the house of Jerusalem, and all who want to go back from all the tribes, because he got all the tribes there. He got the northern kingdom in Shushan, and he got the 10 tribes in Assyria. He controlled all the 772 provinces. You got the province of Assyria, that's where the 10 tribes at, and you got the province in Shushan. That's where the southern kingdom is. So that's a lie. The Edomites and Hood concocted. So he got control of all 12 tribes, and he said, those who want to go back and go back. Right? So what did he do after that? He came out and gave them gold and silver and everything for what? To redeem the ones that they got oppressed. That's the reason we got to get it when we leave. So he got to give them gold and silver of abundance, because he gonna have that. Those priests that come back, they're gonna have the money in their hand to redeem their brethren that these Samaritans got oppressed. Okay, so I'm at verse 5, and he had prepared for him a great chamber. See that? The chamber that belonged to the Most High, to the Lord of hosts. Now Tobias got it, right? He says, well, aforetime they had the meat offerings here, right here, the meat offerings, the frankincense, and the vessels of the tithes of corn, and the new wine and the oil, which was commanded to be given to the Levites, and to the singers, and to the porters, and to the offering of the priests. Tobias got it now. And he got Elishabad, this priest, conducting all of it for him. That's why he don't want the Israelites to come back. That's why he sent the letter to Darius to cut them off from building the temple. When Zerubbabel and Jeshua got back. Let's keep going. But all the time was not I at Jerusalem, for the 2 and 30th year of Artaxerxes, king of Babylon, came I unto the king, and after certain days obtained a leave for the king. So this is when Nehemiah left. And I came to Jerusalem, and I understood of the evil. See that? Look at this. And I understood of the evil the evil that Elizabeth did for Tobias, right? It says, in preparing him a chamber in the courts of the God of the house of the Lord. They're doing the same thing today. Okay, and it grieved me sore. Therefore, I cast forth all the household staff of Tobias out of the chamber. Then I commanded, and they cleansed. Go to Ezekiel 37. He says when he come back, he's gonna cleanse us. He can go right here. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Then I commanded, and they cleansed the chamber. And there brought I again the vessels of the house of God. These are the vessels that Cyrus gave them to bring back, that Nebuchadnezzar had took, with the meat offerings and the frankincense. And I perceived that the portions of the Levites had not been given them, for the Levites and the singers that did the work were fled, everyone to his field. Then contended I with the rulers. See that? This is the Redeemer. This is what he means in Isaiah, Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Nobody gonna redeem you. But here go Nehemiah, he the Redeemer. Kinsman Redeemer right here. So then contended I with the rulers and said, why is the house of God forsaken? And I gathered them together and I set them in their place. Then brought all of Judah the tithes. See that? Not money, like these nut buckets doing, but then I brought all of Judah the tithes of corn, new wine, the oil unto the treasuries. See that? Let's keep going. Okay. And I made treasurers over the treasuries. Now look at this. I made treasurers over treasury. These are all Levites. I told you, this is self-serving. Shema, I might not say these names right. The priest, Zedekiah the scribe, and of the Levites, Pedaiah, and then next to them, Hananiah, and of Zechar and the son of Matthiah, for they were counted faithful, and their office was distributed unto their brethren. So these Levites, these serving. This is self-serving, right? 14, remember me, oh my God. So this Nehemiah, referencing the Lord of hosts. Remember me, oh my God, concerning this, and wipe not out my good deeds that I have done for the house of my God and for the office thereof. See that? So him cleaning out the chamber, running out Tobias and his family is a good deed. Just like today. You might not be keeping the Sabbath on the right day, but you trying to keep the Sabbath. You drawing nigh to the Most High until he brings the truth. 15. And in those days saw I in Judah some tread. Check it out. This is where we're going right here. This is the understanding I'm talking about. In those days saw I in Judah some treading wine press on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves and laden asses, as also wine and grapes and figs and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. See that? And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold the visual. Therefore, dwelt men of Tyre. See that? Ain't nothing new under the sun. That's where we at right now. Therefore, dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish, all manner of ware, sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah, and I said unto them, what evil thing is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers thus, and did not our God bring all this evil upon us and upon the city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath. Read that again. Did not your fathers thus, and did not our God bring all this evil upon us and upon the city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by, see that, profaning the Shabbat. 19, and it came to pass, here we go, this understanding of what a day is. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark, see that? Let me read it again. It came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded the gates, they should be shut. Now check it out. And charged that they should not be opened until after the Sabbath. And some of my servants sat at the gates, and there should no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. There was your timeline. At dark, they shut the gates. Not in the morning. They shut the gates at dark. Okay, so the merchants and the sellers of all kinds of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. Then I testified against them, and I said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall? Right, that's the wall. Same wall in Daniel 9:25. If ye do so again, I will lay hands on you. From time forth came they no more on Sabbath. And I commanded the Levites that they should cleanse themselves and that they should come and keep the gates to sanctify the Sabbath day. But remember me, oh my God, concerning this also, and spare me according to the greatness of my mercy. So what he's doing right here, like I was saying, he's drawing nigh unto the Lord of hosts. Our forefathers understood that they being watched. Like I said, when you start fasting, you drawing nigh unto the Lord of hosts. Damn what the Gentiles talk about, and that Gentile ideology, okay? So he says, and I commanded the Levites that they should cleanse themselves and they should come on and keep the gates to sanctify the Sabbath day and remember, oh my God, concerning this also, and spare me according to the greatness of thy mercy. In those days also I saw the Jews that had married wives of Ashdod and Ammon and of Moab, and their children spake half, look at this, and their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. And I contended with them and cursed them. See that? I contended with them and cursed them. And I smote certain of them. And I plucked off their hair, and I made them swear by God, saying, ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him outlandish women caused to sin. So like I said before, he tell you right here what a Sabbath day is. He didn't close the gates in the morning. He closed the gates that night. And like I said, when the Passover lamb, when the Lord passed over Israel, passed over the Israelites in the land of Goshen on his way to deal with the Egyptians, it was at night. Then that morning they came out. Same thing right here. Okay. Any comments?
Shalom. To me, yeah, that makes sense because like it was dark first, like you in the creation story. So you know, it's dark first and then day finishes that 24 hours.
Exactly. Yeah, so I got a scripture for that too, bro. So let me get on that. Let me get on that, on the darkness part of it. I mean, I'm gonna start out in Exodus, then I go back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. I'm in Exodus chapter 10, 21. Like I said, probably reading over these. You're probably reading over this stuff, but I'm zeroing in on it. So I'm in Exodus chapter 10, verse 21. Okay, check this out. This big. I'm in chapter 10, verse 21, and it says, this is when I'm gonna come back and read this, but this is when the Pharaoh came and dealt with the Israelites, dealt with Egyptians. So I'm gonna start at verse 19. If he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he smite him. They shall smite him. Be quick. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time, and he shall cause him to be thoroughly healed. Then, and if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall Let me see if I'm in the right place. Oh, I'm tripping, man. I'm in the home. I'm in the home place. I was in 21. I'm in chapter 10, verse 21. Okay, here you go. This the plague of darkness when they was in Egypt. I start at verse 19. The Lord turned a mighty strong west wind, which took away the locusts, cast them into the Red Sea, and there remained not one locust in all the coast of Egypt. But the Lord hardened. See this? The Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, so he would not let the children of Israel go. You see the same thing happening right now. 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand toward heaven. See that? That there may be darkness over the land of Egypt. Now check it out. Even darkness which may be felt. Like I said, we're reading over there. He says that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. And Moses stretched his hand out toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. So this is the same darkness in the very beginning. Let's look at it. We read now. So we see this ain't no regular darkness. This is darkness that can be felt. And so when you look right here, let's look at it. Verse chapter 1 of Genesis, verse 2. I'll read verse 1. In the beginning, they say in God, but it's Yahweh. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heavens and earth. Verse 2. And the earth was without form and void. Darkness, this thick darkness was upon the face of the deep. So where the Lord of hosts said, and the Spirit of God, this the angel of God, moved upon the face of the water. He in the darkness. He in that thick darkness. Okay? Let that find me. Any comments or questions? Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna read out of Genesis chapter 10 through 13, and I'm gonna break it down. Okay, we might go over a little bit, but we're gonna do this. So here we go. I'm in Genesis chapter 10. I'm gonna start at verses 10. I'm gonna start at verses see what's God. Okay. Okay, I'm in Genesis, Exodus, Exodus chapter 10. Let me see where I want to start at. Okay. So, like I said before, if you're listening out there in YouTube world, you can fumble with it, do what you want to do with it. I'm just gonna break it down. So we in chapter 10, and I'm gonna start at verse 21. This, what I was just reading it. It says, okay, and the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand. We in Egypt, when the Israelites was in Egypt. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. And there saw, look at this, there saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light. See that? They go to darkness and a light. They had light in their dwellings. And the Pharaoh called unto Moses and said, go ye, serve the Lord. Only let your flocks and your herds be stayed, and let your little ones also go with you. Now, keep in mind the New Testament in JC, right? So right here, 25 says, and Moses said, thus must give us, look at this, thus must give us, you got to give us sacrifices and burnt offerings that we may sacrifice it to the Lord our God. So our God need animal sacrifices. You got to have them, not human sacrifices. It's a demand. It's part of our laws and statutes and our judgments, right? Our cattle also shall go with us. There shall not a hoof be left behind. For therefore must we take to serve the Lord our God. We know not with what we know not with what we must serve the Lord until we come thither. But the Lord hardened the Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go. See that? So the Pharaoh wouldn't let them take their flocks. He said, "You can go, but you ain't taking the flocks in these herds, because they don't want them to serve their God. They don't want them to sacrifice to their God. That's the whole purpose of JC, right? And the animal sacrifice done away with. Okay. So anyway, 27. But the Lord hardened the Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go. And the Pharaoh said unto him, Get thee from me, take heed to thyself, and see my face no more. For in the day that you see my face, thou shalt die. And Moses said, Thou hast spoken well. I will see thy face again no more. Okay. And comment so far. That was chapter 10. Okay, I'm in chapter 11. Israel borrows the jewels. And the Lord said unto Moses, okay, it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, Yet will I bring one plague more upon the Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards, here you go. Look at today. This is where we at right here. He says, and the Lord said unto Moses, Yet will I bring one more plague upon the Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards, he will let us go. And when he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out. Hence all together. So see, that's where we at. We at the point where they did everything on the sun, won't let us go. But when he's gonna get ready to do, they're gonna thrust us out of here. Okay? Look at it. Let's look at it. And the Lord gave the people favor. Let me go back up. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow from his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor jewels of silver and jewels of gold. So, like I said before, DX the Egyptian, and look at the American. Don't the Americans got the wealth just like the Egyptians got? Ain't nothing new under the sun. So who we gonna spoil? Okay, so he says, and the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Just move that Egyptian and put America. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of the Pharaoh and the servants, and in the sight of the people. Okay, and Moses said, Thus saith the Lord, about midnight. There we go again. See that? About midnight. This is the Lord of hosts. So, like I said before, you can't deal with the sun and don't deal with the moon. So it says, Moses said, Thus says the Lord, about midnight. This is the Lord of hosts. This is when he operates. About midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon the throne, even unto the firstborn of the manservants that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of the beast. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall there be like it anymore. But against any of the children of Israel, here you go. Like I said before, we ain't got to do shit. Everybody's talking about what we got to do. We ain't got to do nothing. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against a man or a beast, that ye may know. See that? So reason why we ain't going to get hurt, for them to know who we are and to know that our God, he can do that. Okay? See, that I don't care how high the price of eggs is. Okay? So he says, that ye may know that the Lord doeth put a difference. See this? Here you go. that ye know that the Lord do put a difference between the Egyptian and Israel. Now here go my point. How the hell is Ham Israel's a brother? How Ham and Shem brothers? Look what he just said. That ye may know that the Lord do put a difference between the Egyptian, which is Ham, and the Israelite. They ain't none of no brothers. Well, that's a lie from the pits of hell. And like I said, you can keep fumbling with it if you want. So it says, and all these thy servants shall come down unto me and bow down themselves unto me, saying, get thee out, and all the people that follow thee, and after that I will go out. And I went out from the Pharaoh in great anger. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. This is why they doing the same thing now. They ain't responding to us right now because the Most High gonna show out. They're gonna force the Most High to show out like he did in Egypt. And Moses and Aaron did all the wonders before the Pharaoh, and the Lord hardened the Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of his land. Any comments? That was chapter 12. Any comments? Okay, chapter 12. Here we go, the Passover. We're going to shine some light on that. Chapter 12, the Passover instituted. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months, the first month of the year, and it shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb. I told you, every man a lamb. And I told you, the Israelite and the lamb that connected at the hip. That killed JC in itself right there. But anyway, the Israelite man and the lamb connected at the hip. According to the house, see that? Every man's house, according to his house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. Can't nobody come behind it and disconnect that. A lamb for a house. Okay? And the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man, according to the eating, shall make your account for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year, and ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goat, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it. Look at this. Here we go. And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly, right, of the congregation of Israel shall keep it in the evening. Okay? And they shall take of this blood, right? Here go well, right here, what I'm getting ready to read. This is how JC came in existence. I told you that the Egyptians worshiped the sun. They personified the sun. When the European came, Japhet, Cain descendants came, they looked at the sun and they made a man. They made a man on the earth. The Christ. The Black Madonna, Black Madonna child, they concocted that from the Egyptians personified the sun. They knew the sun wasn't no man, but the Egyptians came because of their intellect, and they made a man out of it, took the sun from out of the sky, put it on earth with a man with the sun behind his head. Okay? So here we go. Now this is how so when they got our scriptures, this is what JC came in. Right here, 7. And they shall take of the blood. See that? Remember what JC did, all they tell you about JC. Paul says, and they shall take of the blood, strike it on the two sides, right? This is the Passover lamb. Strike it on two sides of the post and on the upper door post of the house, wherein they shall eat it. And they shall, look at it. Remember what JC said, eat my blood, right? Eat my blood, okay? And they shall eat the flesh in that night. See that? In that night, okay? And roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire his head, with his legs, and with the permanence thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it in the morning, ye shall burn it with fire. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded. See that? With your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and I will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt. Against all the gods of Egypt. And I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. So here goes the judge right here. Not Yahweh, not Yahushua. And I will say, I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. Now here you go. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses wherein ye where ye are. And when I see the blood, see that? This is where JC come from. When I see the blood, it's the blood of the lambs right here. Passover lamb, not JC. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses wherein you are. And when I see, Lord host, here go the Redeemer right here. When I see that? The blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to be destroyed when I smite the land of Egypt. See that? This is where JC come from. 14, and this day shall be unto you. Look at this. This day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast for the Lord throughout all your generations, and ye shall keep it in a feast by ordinance forever. So now when JC come, imagine this. So he just told him, 14, this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout all your generations, and ye shall keep it in a feast by the ordinance. So let's just say JC came. He came, and then they keep it the Passover. They ain't got nothing to do with him. I don't give a damn who it is. It could be Rodney. This already been established. He says forever. Okay? 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day, ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, their soul shall be cut off from Israel. So why will their soul be cut off? 16. And in the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. So why the unleavened bread? Because they didn't have time. When the Most High delivered them, when he went to Egypt and shut down the Egyptians, killed the firstborn, the Pharaoh came in haste and told them, get these Negroes out of here. So they didn't have time to make the cakes. They didn't have time to put the leaven in the maker. So you say, what are you talking about? The Lord of hosts came to Abraham in Genesis 18. He ran in the house and told Sarah to make cakes. It wasn't in haste. So she made the cakes, put the leaven in it and made the cakes, and then they took a calf tender and good and cooked that, and then brought it out to the angels, the 3 angels. Right here, they ain't got time to do that. They couldn't put no leaven, so that's why they didn't have time to put leaven in it. So that's what the Feast of Unleavened Bread is all about. It had nothing to do with JC. Okay? And it can't be annulled. It's a memorial. It says, and ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this is the reason why. This self-same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generation by all ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at evening, ye shall eat. So he got them doing the same thing he did in Genesis 1 through 26. 6 days, right? 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether ye be a stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitation shall ye eat unleavened bread. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take your lamb. See that? Not no man. Draw out and take your lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop, dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 posts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out of the door of your house until morning. See that? And none of you shall go out of your door of your house until morning. We just saw what Nehemiah did. Close the doors, the gates to Jerusalem, and that night, put guards there until morning. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians. And when he seeth the blood upon the, you see that? Go to JC. This is where he come from. For the Lord will pass through and smite the Egyptian. And when he see the blood upon the lintels, not on no cross, when he see the blood upon the lintels and on the 2 sides of the post, the Lord, the Redeemer, will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. And it shall come to pass when ye be come to the land which the Lord will give you according to what he hath promised. Check it out. According to as he hath promised, that he shall keep this service. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover. Right? You go to the Lord's Passover, this lamb. That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of Israel, right? Passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses and our people, and bowed the heads, and the people bowed their heads in worship. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. So I'm going to read 28 again. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. So the children of Israel ain't talking to the Lord. He says, the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. People, they dealing with Moses and Aaron. You got Negroes hollering today about, Jesus is my man, Jesus is my God. He ain't talking to you. He talking to, he dealing with Moses and Aaron. The people did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. Moses and Aaron is standing between them and the Lord. The Lord ain't none of they man. Moses and Aaron, they man. Okay? Comments? Okay? So, death of the firstborn says, and it came to pass that at midnight, the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne until the firstborn of the captives that were in the dungeon and the firstborn of the cattle. Read that again. Like I said, fast forward to the day. And it came to pass, because he coming, right? He came before, he came in Nebuchadnezzar, came to Babylon, he came to Egypt, he came to Assyria. So it says, and it came to pass that at midnight, the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on the throne unto the firstborn of the captives that was in the dungeon. See that? Ain't nobody get a pass. And all the firstborn of the cattle. And the Pharaoh rose up in the night. And the Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt. And there was not a house where there was not one dead. Now here you go. This at night. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night. And he said, rise up, get ye forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go and serve the Lord as ye have said. Also, take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone. And they go to part I shine the light on before. Look at this. After all this, all that he had done, he says, and take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone. And bless me also. I told you when Joseph brought Joseph brought Jacob to Egypt, what's the first thing Jacob did? He laid hands on the Pharaoh. He blessed the Pharaoh. They go over everybody's head. So think about the day. What we got to be scared of? Okay. So he said, after all that, he tell them, bless me. Before you leave, bless me. See that? So what he talking about? Lay hands on me before you go. Okay. Anyway, 33. And the Egyptians were, here you go. I told you, this was reason for the unleavened bread. It got nothing to do with JC. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land of Egypt in haste. Well, they said, we be all dead men. So that's why they got the feast of unleavened bread. So we ain't got no son to come and do away with that, die on the cross and do away with the feast of unleavened bread. That's a lie from the pits of hell. Okay? So anyway, and the people took their dough. See that? Here you go. The people took their dough before it was leavened. This is the purpose of unleavened bread. Just like Daniel 9:25 had nothing to do with JC. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver, jewels of gold, and raiment. So I'll read that again. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed from the Egyptians jewels, bonds, dollars, and they cryptocurrency, right? Okay, and raiment. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, and they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. Okay. So then verse 37, and the children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men besides children, and a mixed multitude went up with them, flocks and herds, even a great cattle. Let me see where I'm at. Okay. And they baked unleavened cakes of dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened. This is the purpose of unleavened feast of unleavened bread. And it can't be done away with, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victuals. Now the sojourning, here you go. I want you to see this right here. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years, right? We know this alive from the pits of hell. I'm gonna show you that in a minute. And it came to pass at the end of 430 years, even the self same day, it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. So like I said before, I've been saying this since I opened this channel up. The Lord of hosts. The Lord of hosts. Who the Lord of hosts is, right here. It came to pass at the end of 430 years, even the self same day, it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. So who the Lord of hosts is? The Lord, the angel that came to Egypt. He's over the host. It ain't Yahweh. Yahweh ain't no Lord of hosts. See that? Now, let's look at 42. It is a night to be much, see that? It is a night to be much observed unto the Lord for bringing them out from Egypt. This is the night of the Lord to be observed of all the children of Israel. So that takes you right here, right back to Genesis 15. This is why I said in 41, it came to pass. What came to pass? What he told Abraham in Genesis 15. And the Lord said unto Moses and to Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. And the foreigner and the hired servant shall not eat thereof. And in the house, in one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth out of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof. So here you go right here. Go to the New Testament. JC, they didn't break not one bone. JC was broken. This is where it's coming from right here. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it, and when a stranger shall sojourn with thee and will keep the Passover of the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is born, homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourn among you. Thus did all the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses, so did they. And it came to pass the selfsame day that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies. Okay. Any comments? That was 12. That was 12. I got one more chapter. Anybody else got anything? Comments? 13. The Lord spake unto Moses, saying, sanctify unto me all the firstborn who shall open the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast. It is mine. And Moses said unto the people, remember the day in which ye came out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. For by strength of the hand of the Lord brought ye out from the place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. This day came ye out in the month of Abib, and it shall be when the Lord shall bring thee. Here you go. This is what I was telling you about right here. This fulfillment of Genesis chapter 15, right? What they call in 400 years today. 5. And it shall be when the Lord shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites. Right? See that? Now watch this. And the Hittites and the Amorites. Now let's go to Genesis 15 right quick. Excuse me. Go to Genesis 15 just for a minute. For the naysayers. Okay. So Genesis 15. Here you go right here. Verse 13. Genesis 15:13. And he said unto Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, in the land of Egypt. and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. We just read that. And afterwards they shall come out with great substance. We just read that. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Abraham gonna go to your father in peace, and thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation, they in the land of Canaan right here. We talking to Abraham. But in the fourth generation, they shall come hither again to the land of Canaan. For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet filled. Now let's go back over here. Look what he says in verse chapter 13, verse 15, verse 5. And it shall be when the Lord shall bring thee into the land of Canaan. Here you go. And the Hittites, they go to Amorites. See that? And the Hivites, Jebusites, which he swore unto thy fathers to give thee a land flowing with milk and honey. Thou shalt keep this service in this month. So this is a fulfillment. This ain't no Genesis 15 ain't no 400-year prophecy in 2019. Right here it was fulfilled. Right here. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and in the seventh day shall be a feast of the Lord. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall be leavened bread to be seen with thee. Neither shall there be leaven seen with thee in all thy quarters. And thou shalt show thy son, look at this, thou shalt show thy son in that day, saying, this is done because that which the Lord did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. And it shall be for a sign unto thee upon thy hand. Here you go. Go to the mark of the beast. Now this a golden nugget. So 9. And it shall be for a sign upon thy hand and for a memorial between thy eyes, that the Lord's law may be in thy mouth. For with a strong hand hath the Lord brought thee out of Egypt. Okay? I'm gonna leave it right there. Okay? Any comments or questions?
Nope.
Okay, we even got people that left the premises, right? Anybody got any comments, questions?
I know. Very good, though, Brother Leonard. Very good.
Okay. Yeah. So no comments or questions. So with that being said, I want to say shalom to everybody, and I'll see everybody in the morning for our morning Shabbat class. Then we'll close out the Shabbat tomorrow evening from 6 to 7. So with that being said, I want to say shalom, shalom, and another shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it, because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament in Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up, and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel. And it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is, and the Godhead.